This channel supports Extra Life in its efforts to raise money for the Children's Miracle Network. For more information about how to donate and join in their efforts, go to the link displayed here. Extra Life. Play games, heal kids. What up, everybody? This is your boy Black Magus, and sorry for the lateness of these videos, but I wanted to record and give my opinions on the different E3 conferences that I couldn't sit at home and watch, and I'm just catching up with most of them. So let's go with Ubisoft, which is the most recent one that I've caught up with. So that'll be a little easier as the notes are in my hand. So overall, just really quick, I'm not saying that Sony is the reason why everybody was like thrown off, but it just feels like this year's E3 was kind of out of sync, or maybe it's because we're so used to the spectacle of the big console developers, quote unquote, going at war, that we sometimes gloss over like some of the things that we never really pay attention to with these publishers conferences. Mind you, I tend to, but I guess it's a little bit more heightened. And the thing that's heightened is that a lot of these people were just not in it. And again, I feel like it has something to do with Sony. I don't know. This Ubisoft conference was kind of half-hearted, and there was something missing, which I'll get to later. So we got to finally see Watch Dogs Legion, which was leaked already by I believe it was an Amazon website in a foreign country that leaked it. But we found out that yes, you will be able to play as multiple NPCs. You can recruit them and you can add them to your team. You can create this whole legion, of course, which is why they call it Legion, of hackers who are fighting against a government agency or a corporation. I wasn't sure exactly what it was exactly, but these people have taken over this city of London and have basically had a tyrannical hold over it, and you are working with a bunch of hackers, specialists, to spark a revolution and take the country back from take the city back, at least, if not the whole country, from these from the powers that be. There is permadeath, which I thought was very, very interesting, and you can spare yourself. You don't have to die, but if you get to a point where you get to a critical state, they'll ask you basically, do you want to just give up on the mission, or you want to continue and see if you can survive? And if you continue, if you die, you're done. But if you choose to give up, you don't die, you just become hospitalized and you're taken out of action. You kind of escape and live to like fight another day, so to speak. So there's like risk reward in that whole system, which I thought was pretty interesting. And it does reflect within the story, it seems, because they showed you playing as a couple of other operatives, and then you got to a particular one which rolled back to the mission that you originally started to see in their gameplay presentation, which, by the way, kudos for actually showing gameplay, even though it wasn't necessarily just off the cuff gameplay. It was definitely a edited presentation of the gameplay, but you got an idea of what you're going to be playing as and what are you going to be doing within the world. So that was at least good. It was something that was rare this E3. So they come back to that mission, and you get to a point where you rescue the person that you initially were going after with another agent, or whatever they call them. I forget what they called them. And you're having a conversation with the guy that you find that you were trying to recruit all along. And during the conversation, you ask, where's the guy you were? And your character, the female protagonist at this point, tells you, oh, he died when he was saving you, and that kind of influences this person to join your team. You can take control of that person and choose to join or not, I believe. So I thought that was a cool element as well. But March 6th is when it's coming out in 2020, so that's pretty cool. It's funny because we're at that point where we're wondering, like, are these games next gen or current gen? But considering to what Sony had shown about their console and the backwards compatibility, pretty much everything is for the next gen, but current gen as well, probably. So we'll see how that goes. It's actually, I like the Watch Dogs series. I wasn't as bad off on the first one as most people were, and I haven't played the second yet, but I heard the second was a marked improvement. So this looks interesting, definitely interesting. Then Ubisoft started getting extra weird as their show went on, like bringing out Mac from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. They talk about a show called MythiQuest Raven's Banquet, and basically he's a lead. He's the lead on a expansion pack to a very, very popular game that he created, or he was a lead over, and it's a docu-comedy basically. You know, think Office, just about any NBC show in recent history, Office, Community, things like that, Parks and Rec. So I was like, okay, this is where things started to weird out for me. Got some more Rainbow Six content coming on the way. You get new ops. You know, there's an operation that came out during the week, so people have been playing that. They showed that the Adventure Time characters are going to be in Brawlhalla. Okay. You got to see a little bit more on Ghost Recon Breakpoint. From what I've been told, what I've heard from people who've actually seen it in person and played it, they feel like it's just basically an expansion pack to Wildlands, which kind of disappointing if you think about it. But even without that knowledge, what I saw, it didn't look like all that great. And then they're gonna have Terminator content in it, which threw me off too. Like, why is everybody fucking like selling their souls off to the Terminator franchise to put in content for that shit? But we'll find out later this year how that is actually going to be. They are going to have a mobile game that's going to have a bunch of different characters from the Ubisoft properties, including, it's funny, everybody was looking for a Sam Fisher game. Well, you got it. It's this Elite Squad thing, which he's going to be in, which I think deflated the room when they saw that shit. Definitely made me laugh when I saw it. But Just Dance, they did that thing. I kind of zoned out on that because I wasn't trying to see their dance presentation. At least they've gotten from hiring, current music artists for performing on stage, doing like a set to promote this game. Just, you don't even have to do the dance sets to Ubisoft. Just say, in fact, if you're gonna do the dance set, I'd rather they would have did it like they did, I believe it was last year, where they did that shit in the beginning, because we all know that there's gonna be a Just Dance. So just use that as a lead to the show, and then get that out of the way. Why would you bog this down in the like kind of middle of the show? Getting more For Honor content, new expansion for that. I have to say, with Rainbow Six, Ghost Recon Wildlands, and For Honor, Ubisoft has done an amazing job of sticking to their guns, and they did it too for the first Division, and they're probably going to do it as well for Division 2. They've done a good job of sticking to the product and developing it and letting it grow and taking care of its communities, because those games that are all mentioned have communities. They may not be the staple of mainstream media talk, but these games have like strong communities that they've cultivated and have made these successful franchises. It may not be successful in the eyes of many of us because it's not at the forefront of game talk, but all these games done all right. And it's, think about stuff like Steep, which is doing well in Europe and all that, or The Crew, same thing. So hats off to Ubisoft for like just continuing on with products that they could see like has a community, and they're catering to that community because they know they can get that community to invest in it. So yeah, hats off. Then they show Rainbow Six Quarantine, which seems to be some type of co-op thing. It kind of was weird to me because like you had an agent that was sick, an officer that was sick, and you kind of had to protect him, help him get the virus. Like I said, their pacing, by the way, threw me completely off. Division 2 content's coming. As I speak to you guys, there is a free weekend, which I have not invested in. So by the time you probably see this, it's probably long gone or on this last day. They showed the new expansion that's going to be going to the National Zoo and Camp. It looks like Camp. I'd say Camp David because what they shown looked like Camp David. As someone who lives in the DC area, it's like I start seeing things because they were like, "You're going to the presidential compound." I'm like, "Oh, Camp David, cool." They showed a university, which I was like, "That's Georgetown. That's clearly Georgetown. Just say it's Georgia," but I guess there's probably some legal reasons because it's like during the game. If you ever played Division 2, you go to this opulent kind of building that has like a court in it where it's just like immaculate lobby, and it's called the Thomas Jefferson Building. That's the Ronald Reagan Building, by the way. But I guess they had to change certain things because of licensing and properties and all of that. Because it's just like the museum isn't called the museum and stuff like that. So yeah, I guess private things they just vamp over and call it whatever they want to call it in there. But you saw that, and you're gonna go back to New York to go after another agent, which I found funny. Shit looks just like Coney Island, so never been to Coney Island, but I've seen enough images to know. So you're going back to New York for some shit too later on, as they keep rolling out this free content. Oh yeah, you'll be able to go to the Pentagon, and the second raid is coming out as well. I thought it was cool that they're gonna have you go in the pit. I'm curious to see how much they like show of the Pentagon and what they can do, because that's some super secret shit. So, but it's nice that you are expanding within the area. You're not just staying within city limits, but you're going to Northern Virginia with the Pentagon, and you're going, certain parts of Maryland with Camp David, it looks like, and all of that. And then you're going to the upper northwest part of the city with Georgetown, which kind of like is like its own area within a city. Many people don't know this, but Georgetown was a separate city. I'm a history nerd, so of course I know that shit. But yeah, so I think that's pretty cool. They're stretching the boundaries, investing in other areas, in the city. Cool. Off note, for such a small city and not the biggest metropolitan area around, there's a lot of shit to do and see in the Washington DC area, and I'm glad that they picked that because they are gonna give you guys a lot. They have room to go to a lot of places and do a lot of things. It's like, yeah, Northern Virginia isn't the furthest they can go. They can go all the way further, Quantico, head north towards the Baltimore area and things like that, and find stuff that's up there. Shit, they could head to my area. You have the Census Bureau and fucking Smithsonian warehouses and shit like that. It's like there's so many different things within the area because so much is around. Andrews Air Force Base, I live near, and things like that. You can go there and go on to Air Force One and do some shit, or the backup planes and things like that. It's so much they can do, play with in this area for this type of environment, that type of vibe that they're going for, So, cool. Very, very cool. They unveiled Uplay Plus, which is basically their subscription-based service, which is akin to the Xbox Game Pass and all the, Origin and EA things. Pretty much that seems like this is going to be the wave of the future. All these companies are offering these like monthly subscriptions where you can get early access to games, or you can get discounts to them, or you can just get full access to the games to play them. However, they all have different models of doing it, but it seems like that's what everybody wants to do, is just have this like subscription-based thing. And I'm curious when like Sony and Nintendo is going to debut theirs. It clearly is a monkey see, monkey do type of thing, and wouldn't surprise me if they did the same, follow suit. It's going to be available on Stadia, so if you want, you can get that on Stadia. And since they've already talked about how games like Assassin's Creed Odyssey is going to be on Stadia, makes perfect sense, you know, to give you access if you get this thing, kind of this umbrella type of thing where you can take advantage of all these different places. So, okay, and it's $15 a month, by the way. You get free September if you signed up on the day of the conference. So, again, my apologies for being so late, but it's coming out in September. $15 early access subscription, base service by Uplay, which nobody likes Uplay in the beginning. So, really interested how that works out. Then the game of the show, for me, at least as far as I'm concerned with Ubisoft, like, as much as I found Legion kind of intriguing, Roller Champions, which is a rollerblade multiplayer game, looks fucking cool as shit. It's exactly what it says. Roller Champions, you're rollerblading, like a kind of futuristic rollerblading kind of league, but not with the death element like rollerball. And yeah, it just looks like it's going to be fun, so definitely want to check that out. It's already available as a demo, so if you got Uplay, go on Uplay, download the demo, play that. I need to try that out. Then they kind of finished the show on what I thought was a down note with Gods and Monsters, and there's something I skipped, but I'll go back to that because it kind of points out one of the things I had a really big problem with this show. But Gods and Monsters, I don't know what to tell you. Didn't interest me at all. I believe they said it was made by the same people who made Assassin's Creed Odyssey, so that's cool, but yeah, it just didn't appeal to me, whatever. So I can't even remember and tell you exactly what I saw, because I was so tapped out by it. Because somewhere before they did the Uplay thing, which already like kind of tapped me out too, until Roller Champions like kind of looked me back up. And then this fucking Gods and Monsters thing deflated me. Was they're making a Division movie on Netflix with Jake Gyllenhaal. Okay, clearly they dedicated a lot of time to Hollywood elements, because even with the Ghost Recon Breakpoint, they brought out John Barathol, who's in the game, with his dog on stage, which cute dog, but the fuck. You know, and he was talking for a while, just like Mac talked for a while, and then they kind of talked up this movie for a while after talking about all of the Division content. It's like, okay, so y'all are seriously investing in these movies, I guess. I mean, you didn't learn your lesson with how you fucked up Assassin's Creed on film. Okay, but whatever. It is just like, combine that with the fact that also one of your major games that you've been touting up until this point, a couple of your major games, like we knew that the Pirates game, I forget the name of it, wasn't going to be there. They mentioned that. I don't recall them ever saying that they weren't going to do any Beyond Good and Evil 2, but even if they said that, I find it very alarming that they would draw back from doing any Beyond Good and Evil 2. Like, when is that game coming out? Where is the status? I'm very, very curious at that. Now, there may have been news during the week that I may have missed, but at the time of watching the conference, I was just kind of thrown off about that, which is kind of disappointing, because maybe it's not in the state that it needs to be. I know I saw some gameplay and it looked kind of rough at the time, but I was like accepting of that, because I figured, okay, we're in more, that was probably from more earlier stages of things. But I think now, it's been roughly 3 years, maybe less, maybe just 2, since they announced that they were coming out with it. I would like to think that it's at a point near completion, and if not, it's kind of worrisome. Maybe it's too big. Maybe the thing is, it's too big of a scale for the current consoles, that they're waiting for the next gen ones so they can debut it there as well as PC. Who knows? But it'll be curious to see. If you know any information, please let me know. But that was a Ubisoft show in a nutshell. It was alright. That's all I had to say. It was alright. It wasn't the best thing. Like, it's funny because I have a page and a half of notes, and most of it is just me saying, "What the fuck? Like, why are you doing this? Seriously, is this what they're doing? Oh, that's okay, I guess." Blah. Like, yeah, it was pretty much carried by stuff that has already been out getting supported. With Roller Champions, Gods and Monsters basically being the only, well, in Legions, there was only 3 new things. Everything else, the only other new stuff was Hollywood TV production stuff. So, okay, sure. Anyway, that's about it for this video. So as always, you guys feel free to hit me up. Let me know what you think, and I'll holler at you later. This your boy Black Maze, and I'm out. Deuces.